Manu, you've officially been replaced by Mike.
Psych! Now, Rosman, was that because you denied us that information, or were you thwarted in your attempts to give us that information? What happened? I saw people complaining about the lighting, and I've got to be honest.
Yo, Kobe, you got 82 points in this game. That's great, but you could have got 83. Hello everyone and welcome to Plus 3. PSL is in full effect. I'm Matt Rosman, joined by John Epley. No Manu Singal today, but joined by SpeedCube and Zed, Mike Field. Gentlemen, how are you doing, Mike? How are you feeling?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here as your Timu version of Manu. I'll do my best to fill those giant boots. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Yeah. Sure.
Kiwi Manu. Also, those boots aren't giant. I've stood next to Manu. He's not exactly Michael Jordan. Okay, let's be real.
Okay, good to know.
They're quite average boots.
Large child, small adult.
The slander is so strong already.
Manu, we're sorry. We're sorry, Manu.
It's easier when he's not here.
We're just bullying Manu since he's not here. And hey, the audio is much better than the last time we had you on the show, Mike. It's finally fixed. In case any of you remember, that was probably the worst episode of Plus 3 we ever did because it was basically unlistenable.
Borderline, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you enjoyed, having the feeling of watching Plus 3 while you stuck your head in a mason jar, then then it could have been enjoyable, but it wasn't enjoyable for the majority of people. I guess, obvious starting point, we're recording this the day after the first PSL event in Berkeley concluded, as hopefully all of you know, an intense, and dramatic finish between Timon Kolosinski and Matti Hirota-Inaba. Timon clinching the first PSL title with a 341 single solve, which I can't believe. I can't believe more people aren't talking about that. Like, to all the people in CF who said that stream was carried by Maddie and Timon, yes! just like if I watched the Celtics and the Warriors play, it's gonna be carried by Steph Curry and Jason Tatum. And Mike, you were saying before we got on that because John and I were both on the crew, so yes, I was to blame for some of the things that happened. You had some questions to interrogate us with, so
oh yeah, kind of
in a bit of a switch around.
Well, first, before you get questions on us, I mean, we'd happy to hear questions, but I mean, from you, who's someone who actually got to watch it, versus us, who were maybe a little more hectic with it. Like, what were your thoughts?
Well, let me give you the context of what watching it looked like for me just before I get into it, because I didn't see everything. I had to dip out for like an hour in the middle when I had a meeting. I thoroughly enjoyed it as a spectator, and as someone who wasn't involved in the team that was putting it together. I thought it was so exciting to see it happen. I loved the theatrics. I loved the stage. And of course the final itself was incredible. The last few matches were particularly incredible, but I also loved seeing Dylan competing, Heidi as well. I didn't know anything about Heidi. I think Dylan knocked her out in the end. It was just as my meeting started, the Dylan versus Heidi match started, and I was like, oh dang, I don't know who to root for here. Actually, I wanted Dylan to get into the final, but then this Heidi character appeared, and I was just like, whoa, I kind of want her to beat Dylan, low-key.
I was pulling for Heidi, I can't lie. Dylan, I'm sorry, I'm the biggest Dylan Miller glazer on the planet, but I was like, man, I want upsets, I want drama.
I became an Ethan fan.
Ethan was really
big
cool
time.
too. Ethan was really, like, holding his own at some parts. Like, he was, like, there were a couple, like, maybe not, S-tier names who were really pulling it and, like, really kind of giving the best of the best a real run for their money. I think that's kind of the...
And it was cool to see them in that spotlight, right? Giving them a chance to show off and
I think that's, like, maybe a side of PSL that we might need to talk about more is like, hey, there are going to be these names that you're going to have to look out for now that are going to be like slowly rising. Like there are going to be like more opportunities for upsets for different tiers of solvers to also be in the spotlight. I think it's cool. I think it was a really cool, if imperfect first stream from us.
Yeah,
I mentioned that in CF. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was clear. It was clear at the start that there were a lot of moving parts, and not all of them were necessarily as greased as they needed to be. You know, there was some issues with a couple of things, which I'd love to ask you guys about, and just get the answers for people who are just like, hey, what the hell? This was rubbish and this was rubbish. But I would love to know what you guys were doing on the team. Like, what were your roles during the broadcast? Because I was just sitting back chilling watching. I got made a chat mod right at the end of the stream just because there was some people mucking around, and I got to swing the ban hammer, which is one of my favorite things to do. So that was my limited role in it. But what were you actually doing in the broadcast?
So I was running most of like the graphics and stuff, so like all the scoreboards and kind of basically just being scoreboard operator, on the champion graphics and stuff. Excuse me. It was simple stuff. I guess if you want like a bit of a rundown, like John was kind of there as kind of a general kind of overseer, kind of making sure that I didn't screw up too much. And admittedly, John was sort of my window to the chat, because he was like trying to feed me like assistance, being like, yo man, people are talking about this, and I don't know if you did that with anyone else, John.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to give a title to my role, it was to observe and adapt with the team. So I was the only one who didn't really have a dedicated job. So we had Mayor Nick, who was the producer in LA, who was running the shots. He was coordinating with Tyler Rose, who was on site working the cameras. Tyler Rose had a team manning the cameras because many of these cameras were man operated, but Tyler was in a call with Mayor Nick, who was overseeing him, as well as we had some guys on replay, a technical director, Matt on graphics, and then me, who I will say I did nothing, but I'm sure I did something. I kind of got to watch everything happen, read the chat, observe the emotion of what's going on, and kind of help adapt. So like looking at the chat and seeing what they liked, what they didn't like, and then telling the team, hey, we got to fix this. I think that'll be a big part of going forward is continually seeing that feedback and implementing it. Because there's so many little things that we just got to continue to just try. But yeah, that was my job, is to kind of oversee chat, oversee the entire team, step in when necessary, and
right. Sort of a coordinator role, like you were trying to match real life to the broadcast. I suppose you're coordinating between those two in a sense.
Yes, yeah, and man, there was a lot of stuff that happened that I would say I had the smallest role. I mean, Matt and Tyler Rose carried things. Tyler Rose specifically does not get nearly as much credit as he should. He's put everything on his back and really had to put up with a lot of stuff day of, and yeah, I'm sure we'll get into that as he kind of asks questions about like what happened there, but a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, sure. I made a video like just after the stream finished. I did a just sort of kind of a thought vomit video just about my feelings straight after the event. One of the things I spoke about was how I was pretty pleased to see how you guys were receptive to valid things that were being said in the chat. I thought that was really cool, and I thought that was cool in the way that it spoke to what Michael Chai's been talking about in terms of like nothing is forever in PSL. It's just like we are here to make something cool for you, and we will take your feedback in that regard. And I thought that was super cool. So I thought it might be, there's a couple of things been brought up since the broadcast, and a couple of things were hitting me as well. But I wanted to give Rosman the opportunity to tell the story about the scores, because everyone wanted to see, me included actually, we all wanted to see the score to beat sticking around on screen, just to make it a bit more watchable. Carter from Clicky brought up the valid thing, like it was impossible to watch on mute because of that. Now, Rosman, was that because you denied us that information, or were you thwarted in your attempts to give us that information? What happened?
With all due respect to either of those possibilities, Michael, it is merely my own stupidity that created the error.
Oh no!
No, it was just a technical error on my part, not realizing that when we'd update the scores to beat, it wouldn't update with the rest of the scoreboard data. So if you switched the solve number or the set number, it would update the data just fine. Need to beat didn't. So John, when you would type in something, when John typed in, say Maddie gets a time and then Timon has to beat it, I'd have to like mess around and click everything, and like it was a lot of moving parts, and it was a lot of moving parts that I had about 5 hours to familiarize myself with.
And something else too is that Rosman's kind of forgetting here too is we actually had Daniel Marinick, Matt's dad, as our live software coordinator, or whatever you want to call it. So he actually had to fix some of the data to make that work, because there's so many moving parts. A lot of these graphics and live data take skills that are so far above my pay grade. So Dan had to go in and help fix that. So the first part of the stream, I don't think it was even possible.
Yeah, because myself and a lot of other viewers noticed that it started happening towards the like third from last match or something like that, and it was like, oh, they've added that. But then because we could see it was a little moving graphic, it was just like, oh, wait a minute, they didn't invent this on the fly. I think this was not working. I wonder what's happened there. So Daniel, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, and
no. Yeah, you go.
I was just gonna say, so Daniel Mayernick, Matthew's dad, he's the software guy, is he? He was the man behind the scenes there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a lot of the stuff you don't see that makes everything.
So the question that's going to be on everyone's mind then is going to be like, so fixed for San Diego? What's the deal? Do you reckon it's going to be done?
Absolutely.
It sounds like everybody wants it we're going to try to make it more consistent. It sounds like the feedback was pretty consistent on that one. So
yeah, and whenever we all sit down together as a group to be like, okay, what did we do wrong this time, and what are we going to do better this time? And I think it's important to listen to the viewers. I think it's important to listen to 99% of people, because 99% of people typically have something important to tell you, good or bad or otherwise. Like comments from guys like Carter. Now, granted, friendly competition, I can't entirely agree with anything that is representative of Clicky Studios, because as a SpeedcubingTV associate, I cannot condone that. But I will say Carter did bring up a good point. Carter brought up a good point with the commentary, and making like having the stream be impossible to watch on mute. I think if we developed a scoreboard system, in addition to the need to beat times, like kind of making the scoreboard a little bit more. I know we're more, we're definitely inspired a little bit, by like smaller score bugs that you'll see in darts or in like snooker, just like a little casual thing that if you know it, you understand it. It's not like a full like football, like an NFL score bug where it's just
I think there's
loud and in your face.
I think that's. Would loud and in your face be terrible? I don't know. That's probably a matter of taste, I suppose. I feel like there was maybe room for more on screen, but that's just my own personal opinion. I mean, like I say, I'm not a sports broadcast professional at all,
And there's more that we have that we only have so much bandwidth. So I think you're going to see a lot of really cool things coming and moving forward. I don't want to spill the beans because I don't know how long it's going to take. It might be implemented next weekend. It might take a little longer, but I think there's a lot that we wanted to do, and there's only so much time to and bandwidth to put it out there. So I think you'll definitely see some
cool.
innovative stuff.
Another interesting one that was driving people nuts and did get addressed really quickly was there was a really, really beautiful camera angle as competitors were inspecting. And then they would put the cube down and they would put their hands on the timer. And as soon as they started solving, it would switch to this other camera angle that was like, it was way far away and it started zooming in, which I can understand. I will give them that grace. I can understand because I was just like, oh, that's quite dramatic. But it's also makes it impossible to actually see what's happening. And when it's such a minute thing, it needed that. And that was dealt with pretty quickly as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, we heard that in chat.
I thought you were gonna say something different, which I think was a bit of an issue, and I think that's both an issue of what was going on with the audio, but which to an extent that's what we could control. But I also know, as Dan commented, or when we were all in the room, no, Michael Chai, this is no disrespect to you. But, like, especially early on, my man was holding that... He was putting that thing in his mouth, man.
It was in there. I had to stop myself because I dropped a little super chat because I like to... I'm trying to lead by example in cubing by super chatting, you know what I mean? It just doesn't happen very much. But I was like, I dropped one and it was very nearly... I had to edit myself because I was about to drop it and just put it in the Michael Chai mic training fund. But I didn't. So I'm putting it on record that I didn't do that. But I thought about it because his mic was hot. It was hot as.
Oh, it was hot most of that competition.
Yeah,
and I think that's also kind of as I talked about this in a comment on CF of just like I think our biggest thing is due diligence. That's all we needed. We needed a little bit more of that. I think we all kind of agree that like. That probably would have saved 80% of the headaches that we went through. Like, especially it would have been nice to know earlier if, about the... Which, I should mention this with the camera feeds. Until, like, 2:30... Like, I don't know if it was 2-ish or 3-ish Eastern time. The stream started at 4 Eastern.
Yeah.
We all got on at 3 Eastern. For whatever reason, like we were dealing with issues of just the venue's firewall was blocking the camera feeds being sent to Matt in his production stuff.
Oof.
So what would happen?
That's big.
And we were just like, we didn't get it until very close, and it's like, maybe we should have tested that.
Well,
like it.
Well, the reason that happened is because the venue knew we were going to use their Ethernet. They didn't realize we were going to set up our own LAN system within that Ethernet. So they had a firewall that they, good on them for having that. But, we didn't really know that we had to tell them that we were doing this special setup. So I think due diligence is one way to put it, but hindsight, man. I mean, I think there's so much new stuff that's happening that it's easy to go, oh, I'm an idiot for not realizing that. But... Man, we're learning and growing as all this new stuff happens, so I think we got to also give ourselves a little grace.
Yeah.
There's only so much.
Well, I'm coming in heavy with this stuff like the day after the event. Have you guys actually done a full debrief yet, or am I preempting that?
No, I don't know when we're gonna do that. I don't know when the debrief is gonna be.
Yeah, right.
Tyler's spending the week with Mayor Nick, so I think that they'll have plenty of time to go through all that. So yeah, we still need to sit down and really review the tape, but. Because I'm sure it looks different sitting down and experiencing it.
Yeah, for sure. No,
and I'll say
I would encourage you to watch it, definitely.
The cool thing for me was just seeing like all these like top cubers just like watching. Like the amount of people who I saw was just like just watching. Was it Tuan Dillman and Felix and Olaf and like just all these like. Big guys, like just all sitting. Harsha was there, like it's just it was a really cool thing because, and I think that with the amount of people that we got, it like I will be honest, I'll be honest, it went a lot better than I thought it was going to. But now, granted, I'm a pessimist, I'm a doomer, but it went so much better than I thought it was going to, and I appreciate, most of the community kind of just giving this a chance and letting us run with it. And all I can say is that, I hope San Diego's, I know San Diego's going to be better, and y'all should tune in. That's going to be March 22nd, PSL San Diego, featuring Timon, Maddie, Dylan, and stepping up.
Not Matty.
Not Maddie.
I thought Maddie was at that one.
Timon, Dylan, and Greaser, right? Greiser.
And yes, stepping down from the commentator's chair, Luke Greiser. Now, Epley, correct me if I'm wrong. That commentators on that stream are going to be Manu and is M Rosie doing it? Is that an M Rosie stream?
I think so. I don't want to get everyone too hyped up for an M Rosie appearance before it's official, but
y'all should put me on the next PSL stream. Take me off graphics and put me and Manu on commentating.
Tough sell.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I'm excited. I'm so excited about the idea of having M Rosie, Michael Rosenkrantz, right? I'm so excited by the idea of seeing him commentating speedcubing. He's not a speedcuber, but he is a pretty expert commentator. So he's going to have his work cut out, and he's going to have people coming at him. But I think he's got the ability to make something super special happen. Listen, one last tech thing before we can talk about how good it was. I saw people complaining about the lighting, and I've got to be honest, as just a viewer, I actually kind of liked the lighting. I saw what I needed to be looking at on stage was lit very well, I thought, but I wasn't a competitor. Did competitors have a hard time with the lighting or whatever? Like, I really liked how the station was really, really dramatically lit. Not as dramatic as the waiting area where we saw Emperor Palpatine, Timon Kolejinski, just sitting there, just lurking in the dark. I thought that was so cool. But how did the competitors find the lighting? Do you guys know? Because you weren't on the ground.
We got to watch a little bit, and I mean, they were, of course, taking Timon and Maddie and having them sit down and practice, and I know they had to adjust things for sure, because I remember watching ahead of time Timon basically saying, this is unsolvable, like I'm cooked if this is the lighting, and so they had to balance the fact that they had very little time because they were dealing with the camera issues, but B, trying to make it look good, dramatic, and also good lighting for the cubers. So I was surprised at how many people did not like the lighting, because I thought it added a lot of flair. Sure, it wasn't an extremely bright gymnasium or something, but I think that's kind of the point, right? I thought the lights were immaculate. But yeah, they were sure to sit down with the cubers and make sure that they were comfortable with that environment. Otherwise,
because that's a big challenge, because traditional event lighting is absolutely not appropriate or even usable for speedcubing, because you'd have so many shadows. Like, the shadows would be crazy. The reflection off of UV cubes would be crazy. So again, glad to hear that they managed to fix that in the last few minutes. I tell you what, I don't envy the ground team, because I reckon that last half hour with the firewall and the lighting, those are like two critical points that like really messed with you in the last 30 minutes before broadcast. I don't envy them at all. Yeah, how's Tyler?
Tyler Rose needs a day off.
Have you heard from Tyler since then, or is he just in a cupboard screaming?
Yeah, I think he's just kind of.
I think that's valid.
For a day or two. So don't reach out. Don't text him. Leave him alone for a day or two. He'll be back for San Diego.
But you know what though? Overall, like it was so good. I really genuinely enjoyed watching all the matches I watched. I enjoyed, even though there were technical difficulties. And by the time things were ironed out and the audio was better and the on-screen graphics, the time to beat was better. Like the finals were pretty electric. Like, they were great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it continues to go, man. Because I can see that I know that we can fix these issues, and so I can see that getting better. Well, I'm
Oh,
sure more
for sure.
issues will pop up, but it'll be even more.
Well, what do they say? What's the cliche, right? The successful people have successful systems, so you need to take what you've learned and adapt those into your systems, and then you don't have these problems again. Well, in an ideal world, but yeah, build those systems, and the product will be great. Is my kind of take on it, for sure.
Yeah, and just more reps, and not even just for PSL, but the Happy Feet team. I mean, the amount of new things that are possible because we adapted it for the PSL. We can continue to adapt that for the PSL, or if people saw what we have and are inspired by it, I mean, bring those ideas to us and we can continue to adapt them more too, right? So shout out. Tyler Rose was another, probably did 90% of the work for all of that.
Yeah, shout out Tyler, man. It was like actually crazy. Like he really is like the engine of this whole operation. I want to move it. John, were you gonna say something?
Oh, I just wanted to clown on Matt Mayernick a little bit because he's awesome. I love him, but we've had conversations the last few days where like Mayernick is at best top 3 in Happy Feet, maybe top 5, because Tyler Rose number 1, Daniel Mayernick probably number 2. And so maybe Mayernick at 3, but even that's a
where
debate.
Where does Preetham
so
rank?
It's a good spot to be.
Where will Preetham rank? Preetham's going to be high ranking in a few months.
Preetham is our number 1 draft pick, and he will continue to gain role on the team for sure. So yeah, dude, and Matt is projected to be one of maybe top 10 most important people on the team. I think he's happy with that. It's pretty cool to see how many people volunteer their time, because there's no money, right? There really is no money to be made here. A lot of us not only volunteer our time but sacrifice money and other opportunities, so it's cool to see how many people are
I think if I was going to evaluate myself, I think I'm simultaneously like 8th place and last place in the Happy Feet hierarchy. So I think simultaneously. Or is that too harsh?
No, last check's out.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't
even know what that means. You're 8th place and last place?
Okay. Since a Philistine like yourself wouldn't understand quantum mechanics, 2 things can be true.
Schrodinger's cat. Yeah.
I
We're off the rails, bro.
I'm just. I've got TB, mate. I've got the consumption, man. I'm a sick Victorian child.
That's rough.
After this episode, I'm going to probably pass out.
I think it's best you stay in the graphics box.
Yeah.
With your TB.
I'll stay in my. I'll stay in my place. Anyway, I want to move on to something a lot more positive now, which is, over the past few weeks or so, and I'm shocked that we didn't talk about what I'm going to talk about much early. I am genuinely shocked we never got to it. That's bad on us. There have been a lot of strides being made for women representation in cubing, and I want to start off with probably the biggest female cuber in the world right now, Qishan. We never talked about this average, and I feel like, so for those who don't know, Qishan got the 3x3 female world record with a 5:36, and I just I don't know if we know that speed cubing has been a really male dominated field, but when you have solvers like this, you kind of just realize that it's more marketing and culture than it is anything. I think we have someone whose style is similar to Xuan Yi or Zhao Kun, where you have these 3x3 one tricks being developed at a high level in China. I just think to really have someone, not finally, I shouldn't say that, but to have someone like Qishan, especially at her age, it's going to be the same thing with her and with Xuan Yi, in my opinion, where it's just, here are the 2 youngest cubers, and remember Qishan and Xuan Yi both had that what is it exactly called, 2-person one-handed, Do you guys remember
Yeah,
that?
they did like a 2-person solve, like unofficial world record. Yeah, one hand
Yeah,
each.
One hand
the
each.
one hand each.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's really cool that we have like, sort of this slowly increasing representation, because it's much needed. The last thing we need is another homogenized space. Um, You could make the argument that a lot of stuff, that's. I don't want to get political. I don't want to get like political and sociocultural on this podcast. I'm not going to talk about like Gamergate and stuff like that. I suppose I shall just defer it to my more educated co-hosts here, kind of just further detailing like what's been going on in the world of women's speedcubing.
Well, more educated is a lot. That's a reach. But yeah, I made a video yapping about it recently because it was International Women's Day on the 8th of March. It's always a good reminder for me to kind of check in and just be like, whoa, actually, yeah, where are we? Where are we with women in speedcubing? And I can only, like I kept saying on my video, I have never experienced life as a woman. I'm just a straight cis het white man. You know what I mean? So it's like I haven't really experienced that much. What's the word? Like marginalization in my life. But it's interesting for me, or particularly poignant for me, I think, as a father of a young girl, just to see, well, what is the world shaping up like? And my wife, of course, she's in a male-dominated profession as well. But we have come on leaps and bounds in just getting the representation on the WCA website with the ability to filter by female results so that we can celebrate those female world records. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big thing in itself. And I kind of have made the case over and over again. I'm not sure if I'm right or not, but I feel like it's a major thing, which is just about representation and girls seeing other girls succeeding. Like, that is a big part of encouraging more girls into the sport. And I think I would like to see more girls in speedcubing. I would like to see more girls succeeding in speedcubing. I would love, and I think it will happen one day. I don't know what the event is, but I think we will have a situation where the world record is just a female world record. You know what I mean? I feel like that is not out with the realms of possibility.
And it might come from somebody.
Hey, you never know. It could be
country.
Yuki Gao. Could be Yuki Gao with a 2x2 W. I know that she has just landed. Nice segue. The female world record 1.21 2x2 average, which is still obviously a ways off Yiheng's world record, but it is finally a good result for her, because I know she can perform. So she's registered as a Chinese competitor. She lives and competes here in New Zealand. And Yuki has been really... She's a gang guru as well, and she has been grinding on 2x2 for a long, long time. Has been getting, my understanding is, very, very good results at home. Has struggled to put those down in competition, like anyone, right? But she's done it now and got the... I can't remember if she's beat herself in the FWR. I would have to check that. But I know she's got the 1.21 now. And I'm hoping that is going to, put more of a fire under her to beat that, to get closer to those male world records. I'd love for that to be a thing.
Yeah, and Kate Graham with a 1:13.06 6x6 single in Mexico. And she's always been a competitor, someone to be worried about if you're Kevin Hayes or Max Park, because she's just been so dominant at big cubes and just has not stopped grinding. So it's really cool to see her continue to improve. And then also just another person to watch out for, maybe not world record yet, but certainly podium, if not winning a national world title. Because, I mean, especially with these big cubes that are means, I mean, you get one big pop or something, which rarely happens, but, I mean, it's entirely possible that something major happens in a big cube event and propels Kate to win. And I don't even think something major needs to happen. I think she can just come out and have a great day and
I was just looking up Yuki's result now. 1.21 makes her, that's 27th in the world, as far as I can tell, which is not too shabby. Of course, it's still a good chunk away from that borderline unachievable 0.86 of Yiheng's, of course. Then 0.9 for Nigel, 9.2 for Zane. Well, how many have we got under a second now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 averages underneath a second now. That's crazy. Little Teddy's down at 5th place. Yeah, Yiheng, Nigel, people? Zane, Suhan, then Anthony and Theodore.
It's incredible. I can every year I check in cubing and I realize
it's something that it's like realizing that it's more and more over as time goes on.
You know what, Kate?
Like we're reaching levels.
Just checking in on Kate Graham, 6x6 as well. That's 15th in the world. So that's even further up there. Outstanding. But yeah, I will continue to, I don't know, I'm just on my own sort of side quest to just be like, when there is a female world record, just talk about it. Like, that's the least I can do. So it's a pretty easy win to just actually talk about it and say, hey, this happened, everyone. Make media about it.
Yeah, and I think it'd be cool, and this is just me thinking live, but I mean, seeing Heidi was very exciting in PSL, and so I mean, maybe as that develops a little bit more, it'd be cool to see some more, maybe just like a women specific bracket style tournament, just to highlight that more. I think we've already done women's podiums at some major competitions, and the podium's cool, but I think the character development and seeing them have those personalities and really making.
Was it Heidi Chan? It was, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm just checking her results now. Yeah, she was great, and I feel bad that I had no idea who she was until PSL was happening. I was just like, wait, who? She's there. Amazing.
It's part of
right. I didn't know Ethan. I didn't know Ethan either.
Ethan John.
So yeah, that was super cool. Good on you, Heidi. Lovely to see you on stage performing. I don't have the bracket in front of me from the weekend, and I missed her match against Dylan. I don't know if do you remember the result off the top of your head? She didn't give him it wasn't a clean sweep, was it? I can't remember. I missed that entire match. I need to go back and watch the stream.
Go back and watch the highlights. Matt's been posting. I don't know how much he's been posting, but I know he's been editing a bunch of stuff in the background.
Yeah, right. At the time of recording, we've got 2 videos since the stream. I have been watching closely, looking for that content.
Yeah. Hey, I wanna. I want to get into, I guess, which I can't believe I'm gonna say this. It's a highlight of the week, but we have to debate if this is a highlight of the week or a lowlight of the week.
This is the engagement bait, everyone. This is the engagement bait. We want you to fight this out in the comments.
Bait. This is what we're gonna get the clickbait title. This is the stuff that clickbait titles are made of. Yesterday, just before PSL started, Yiheng was competing at the Liberty Science Center in New Jersey. And he put up a monster, a U.S. soil record, as people were talking about it in the chat, of 462. And then immediately following that in the next round, got a 436. Now, Mike, would you like to explain and tell everyone and show everyone how wrong you are, why this shouldn't be a highlight? I
will explain it in the same way that I explained it to you just before we started recording, Matthew. I think that's fair, isn't it? Yes, Yiheng Wang in the final, Liberty Science Center B, 432, 484, 383, 391, counting that 391 and setting himself up for a best possible average, is my understanding, of 4.02. So he needed to come in under 484, is my understanding, to get a 4.02. He had a BPA of 4.02. He didn't. He he came in with a 5.28, which I described as him having whiffed it. As in, he went for it and he kind of missed. Now, Rosman, you feel as though I've been a little bit unfair there. Make your case.
Yes. Okay. It's like saying, all right, yo, Kobe, you got 82 points in this game. That's great, but you could have got 83, or you could have got you didn't get 100. You didn't get 100 points in a basketball game. Who cares? Kobe got 80 points. Yiheng got a 436. Like, we can't.
No one's talking about the fact they got a 436. Everyone's talking about that he failed the world record. What's the headline?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh, he failed the world record. He's only amazing. He is not perfect.
I hear.
By God, in 2 months, not even 2 months. Next month, Yiheng will break the world record again. Next month, Yiheng's gonna have a sub-4 average.
I do hear where you're coming from, and I think what has happened is possibly I've officially been hanging out with cubers too long, because I felt exactly the same as you, Roz, a while back, which was whenever I was at a competition, specifically with kids on my team, and most of them were kids back then. A lot of them are adults now, but you know what I mean? I was there with people on my team, and they'd get a great result, and I'd be just like, yo, nice work, that was awesome. And they'd be like, oh yeah, but it's NR fail. Oh yeah, but it was PR fail. And it was like immediately they would go to the what it wasn't as opposed to what it is. And that always did bother me, because I was like, come on now. Can we pull some positivity out of this? And do we have to go for do we have to go for what it wasn't? Do we have to go straight to beating ourselves up about what could have been? And I realized that's exactly what I've done to Yiheng. I've become cuber-coded just by proximity. By proximity to these people. Unbelievable. But no, I hear your criticism. I wonder what Yiheng went away feeling like. Did he feel like it was a WR fail? Or did he feel like, oh yeah, nice, 436, fastest average of 5 in the US? What do you think?
I think that the more impertinent character might be his mother and what she felt. I don't know what the answer to that is, but it seems like that might be the... What I do know is interesting is... I mean, she really is... It sounds like she's very, very knowledgeable on cubing and really knows, pays attention to what the coaches are saying, and so I'd be curious to see if... what their thoughts are. I don't know if she has a social media platform where she kind of talks about these things, or
she does on she does on Bilibili.
Remember the two? Do you remember the Yiheng sliding thing? She has a platform.
Of course. I don't know if they still use it, right? I mean, I don't have a Bilibili. I should, but I would love some Yiheng content. I mean, what was he thinking? Because this is another thing that I've heard before is Yiheng is really, really good, and obviously, and he can sometimes be trying to go for 3-4 pairs or one look, maybe not a full one look solve, but sometimes he's so good he might overextend themselves. So I hear sometimes they'll even need to get him to chill out. I mean, hey man, maybe only go for plan out 2 pairs. You don't need to try to go for the whole thing. So with a kid that's that young and that fast, I would love some more Yiheng content.
I know. Hey, I would love, and this is such a selfish Western coded take, but I would just love more translation. I'd love more translation of his words. I want to know what he's feeling and what he's thinking, and not terrible Google Translate versions. You know what I mean? I'm just looking on Bilibili right now, and it has been posted, not by Yiheng's mom, but it has been posted, and the title of it is hold on, Yiheng miss. Oh, it's not. Hold on a minute. I just need a translation. It's not. Okay, it's translated half of it. Yeah, but it came up in my little notifications bar here as Yiheng missed world record. Liberty Science Center Open B. So they know how to sell.
How to sell it, baby.
So how did we get onto that? Yeah, that was great. Still, you're absolutely right, Rosen. It's still a great average, an outstanding average. He did have a great whiff. He did have an absolute whiff. He went to, I don't know enough about 2x2, but it's in the clicky highlights from that competition.
Oh, yeah. No, that... You want to talk about a whiff? That's a whiff.
He went for a 2x2 solve. I think he tried to one look it, which is, my understanding is you know the entire solution in your inspection, right? And he just put down a scrambled cube and was just like, oh, well, swing and a miss.
Yeah. It was,
I love the dedication. He was just like, this is what I'm going to do. Here it is. Oh my.
Yeah, well, anyway, congratulations to Yiheng.
Well done, Yiheng.
None of us will ever reach your heights, which will only get higher as time goes on.
Yeah, he's like 3'6", right? I'm pretty sure his heights will be higher.
Not those heights.
That would be a great arc. Because he's not like there's that would be a great arc would be the Yiheng tall arc, where he just has because what is he 11? He says it's basically the same age as my son, and he's my son's at that wonderful stage in any young boy's life where your teeth and your arms and legs are just a little bit too big for your body. And you're just like kind of a weird alien. So I'm just sorry, Charlie, if you ever watch this. But like I'm looking forward to that Yiheng stage.
Me when I insult my son.
It happens.
Me when I look at my son's legs.
You should hear the trash talk he gives me. You know. So I'll be interested. Yeah, it would just that would be a funny stage if Yiheng just went sort of fully tween. It was just like, whoa, what is this?
Anyway, enough roasting Yiheng's height, and enough roasting the X and Y axis of Yiheng.
Yeah, the potential X and Y axis.
Congratulations to everyone we mentioned. Congratulations to PSL for, by the grace of God, it worked. It went well. Remember, March 22nd, PSL San Diego, Greiser, Delete. Timon. If it went anything like Berkeley, Timon is going to eat everyone else for breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, and tea. They won't even know what tea is here in the United States, man.
Well, you know what I want to see is I want to see Greiser take it. Timon's had one now. It's like whatever, move over. Old news, boring. Come on, Greiser. That's what.
He's going to play the mental games, bro. He's going to come in and he's going to dominate. And you think that Timon is Emperor Palpatine sitting in that chair? I can only imagine the looks of Greiser sitting in that chair.
Greiser's just listening to, like, Sigma edits with, like, wolves and lions on them, and he's just looking at those, and it's like, he needs to bring the wolf energy. Like, I'm not even going to try and explain that. I need to go to bed, man. I'm tired. But, I'm calling it. My brain's gone.
He's done.
I'm wrapping this up. I'm done. Mike, it was nice having you. It was very nice to have you destroy PSL and make the worst take in +3 history by saying that Yiheng average was a whiff.
Absolutely whiffed it.
We know what...
Rosman's trying so hard. He has by far the top 10 worst takes, so
he's
trying hard to put you
takes.
on there.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. No, I'm just checking the data now, and yeah, it is all 10. Yeah, they're all there.
Just remember the ZB take, man. The greatest take ever. Anyway, Mike, it's always a pleasure to have you. John, well, and then Manu. Manu, you've officially been replaced by Mike.
Psych!
Only time will tell if I get replaced as well. Who'd you replace me with? Could you replace me with Meredith?
I was hoping that Mike would replace you, to be honest. But whatever.
That's what I thought I was doing. It's been quite awkward.
I need to end this episode before I get fired from +3. Thanks for watching, everyone. Watch PSL on the 22nd. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Put us on a billboard. We should get a +3 billboard. We should get a SpeedCubing NZ billboard. Buy Cube Sauce, SpeedCube Shop. Add Cube Sauce to your digital marketplace. Thanks for watching, and have a good night, everybody.